I use this rule every single day and it's the only reason I stopped overthinking everything. 3 seconds, 1 decision, total shift. The 3-second rule to stop overthinking. Let's be honest, overthinking ruins more dreams than failure ever will. You have the idea, you want to act, but your brain, it stalls, doubts, delays. If that sounds like you, this one mental trick might change everything. I call it the 3-second rule, and today, I'll break down exactly how it works and why it's so effective. 1. What is the 3-second rule? The 3-second rule is one of the simplest, yet most underrated mental tools I've ever used. Here's how it works. The moment you feel hesitation, before your brain spirals into fear or excuses you, count backward. 3, 2, 1, and take immediate action. That action can be anything: pressing send, getting out of bed, speaking up in a meeting, hitting record. The key is to move before your thoughts stop you. What makes it powerful isn't the counting itself. It's the psychological interrupt. By giving yourself a tiny window to act, you override your brain's natural tendency to freeze. Our brains are wired for comfort and safety. Anytime we sense uncertainty or potential embarrassment, the mind tries to pull us back. That's how overthinking wins. The 3-second rule doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It teaches you to act, in spite of the discomfort. And ironically, the more you do it, the less scary things become. You teach your brain that action is safe, that fear isn't fatal, that momentum beats perfection. It's not about making perfect decisions. It's about breaking the hesitation loop before it becomes anxiety. One small action, over and over again, that's how transformation begins. 2. Why overthinking happens. Overthinking is like mental quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. But where does it come from? At its core, overthinking is a form of fear. Fear of failure, rejection, judgment, or simply the unknown. Our brains evolved to scan for danger. Thousands of years ago, that danger was physical, a wild animal, or a hostile tribe. Today, it's emotional, criticism, embarrassment, loss. But your brain doesn't know the difference. It still reacts the same way. It tries to protect you by pausing, analyzing, hesitating. It thinks it's helping, but too much analysis creates paralysis. You begin to second-guess everything. What if I mess up? What if they laugh? What if I'm not ready? These thoughts stack up, creating a wall between you and the action you need to take. The worst part, overthinking feels productive. You tell yourself you're just being careful or waiting for the right moment. But what you're really doing is avoiding discomfort. And every time you delay, you reinforce the habit of inaction. Your confidence shrinks. Your anxiety grows. This is why the 3-second rule is so critical. It bypasses the fear loop. It doesn't give your brain time to make up excuses. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid: quick, clean, effective. The longer you wait, the scarier it gets. But when you act fast, you prove to yourself that you can handle it. Overthinking isn't solved by more thinking. It's solved by doing. 3. How to use the 3-second rule. So how do you actually apply the 3-second rule in real life? Start small. The next time you hesitate even on something tiny, count 3, 2, 1, go. The moment matters more than the outcome. It's not about whether the task is big or small. It's about building the habit of decisive action. Let's say you've been avoiding a tough conversation. Your brain fills with what ifs. What if it gets awkward? What if I say it wrong? The 3-second rule cuts through that. You pick up the phone, count down, and dial. That's it. No room for doubt to grow. Or maybe it's about building consistency. You want to start going to the gym, but every morning, you negotiate with yourself. Maybe tomorrow, I'll go later. Again, the 3-second rule jumps in. The alarm goes off. You count 3, 2, 1 and stand up. You move before your brain talks you out of it. You can use this rule in 3 categories. 1. Micro actions, like replying to an email or starting a task. 2. Brave moves, like asking for feedback or going on stage. 3. Emotional resets, like pausing before reacting to anger or anxiety. Every time you use it, you strengthen your identity as someone who takes action. Not perfectly, but consistently. That's what changes everything. 4. Why it works. Behind this simple rule is a powerful neurological truth. Your brain rewards action. When you take even a small step forward, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. That's why completing a task feels satisfying. It's not magic, it's wiring. The challenge is, the brain also reacts strongly to fear. When faced with a challenge, your amygdala, the fear center, lights up. If you hesitate, the fear signal grows. But if you act quickly, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, stays in control. This means the faster you move, the more you override the fear loop. You prove to your brain that fear doesn't need to decide for you. Another reason this rule works: it creates momentum. Success isn't about massive breakthroughs, it's about daily reps. When you act quickly and consistently, your brain learns that action is safe and effective. Over time, you become more confident, not because the fear disappears, but because you've built a track record of courage. The 3-second rule is like a mental shortcut. It doesn't remove fear, it beats it to the punch. That's the real secret. 5. Long-term impact. Here's what happens when you use the 3-second rule consistently. Your entire life starts to shift, not overnight, but gradually, day by day. You become the type of person who does things instead of just thinking about them. You speak up more. You finish what you start. You stop negotiating with your fear, and with each small win, your identity changes. You're no longer the overthinker. You're the doer, the mover, the one who acts. You begin to trust yourself more, because you've proven you can act even when it's uncomfortable. That's where real confidence comes from. Not hype, not motivation, but follow-through. And this compounds. That project you've been avoiding. Done. That opportunity you almost passed on. Taken. That version of yourself you dreamed of becoming. Closer than ever. The long-term impact of using the 3-second rule isn't just productivity. It's peace, clarity, self-respect. When you act on what matters, even in small ways, you stop carrying the guilt of procrastination. You feel aligned, alive. So what are you waiting for? Whatever you've been putting off, count it out. 3, 2, 1, go. Final words. Start today. Pick one thing you've been avoiding and, when that hesitation creeps in, count. 3, 2, 1, act. Then let me know in the comments what you used the rule for. Hit like if this hit you, and subscribe if you want more tools to get out of your head and into action.